everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Neca Walmart exclusive Ofelia and Faun Pan's Labyrinth 2-pack. So before we take a look at the Faun, let's take a look at Ofelia and all of her accessories. So first up, Ofelia comes with 3 fairies, the red, blue, and green ones. And these don't look too bad. They have a little bit of sculpt and paint detail to them, but they're very tiny, so it's hard to paint them very well. And my main complaint is they don't have anywhere to fly. It would have been nice if there would have been like a little clear flight stand or something that you could attach them to, because they're too tiny to stand up, and you really can't put them anywhere. Like, there's nowhere that you can even put them on Ofelia. So, yeah, I just have them balanced here on her arm. So, that's one of the complaints I have with this set, is it would have been really nice to have some sort of stand or something to put them in. That way, they're not just either sitting on the ground or just balancing on her arm there. Up next, she comes with the storybook, and this looks really good. It has some paint detail on it, making it look worn and very aged. And you can actually open and close it. And there you can see it actually has writing. Oops, I think I had that upside down. You can actually see the Faun right there, and Ofelia, and then the words. So yeah, there's some really fine attention to detail in this. But you really can't get it in her hand that well. You kind of just have to balance it like that. And finally, she comes with the key that she uses in the Pale Man's lair. And this is a really cool accessory. It's got a little bit of sculpt detail to it, but it is very thin and very fragile. So yeah, I'm definitely afraid I'm going to break it or lose it. So taking a look at the head sculpt doesn't look too bad. I don't think it's spot on to the actress, but it's not bad either. I don't know if the original version had any print tech to it. But if you look, she has some really weird texturing there on her neck. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. But it's like scratches and some texturing. I think that's probably just on mine. But yeah, it looks like some cuts and stuff there. But her hair is sculpted nicely. No sort of paint variation to it. And the dress also looks very nice. This is done in soft rubber. It does hinder her articulation, but I got a little more articulation out of her than I thought I would with this. It would have been cool if they would have done this in a muddy deco, because I'm pretty sure this is just a straight-up re-release from the previous version. But yeah, it would have been nice if they would have done some mud over top of this one, just to make it a little different from the previous version. And she has some really weird joints right here. As you can see, it says L right there for left, and the peg is sticking out. And she has these really weird joints right here. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not great either. So yeah, it would have been nice if Neca would have changed the arm joints up, because as you can see, this one's not in all the way, and it won't go in all the way. I've tried. And it says L right there. I wish that would have been hidden. And then her socks are sculpted pretty nicely, and she has some really nice gloss painted on there for her shoes. So now let's go over her articulation. Don't expect a whole lot of articulation out of her. I mean, you really won't be getting her into any crazy poses. So she can look up just a little bit. She can look down just a little bit. She can move her head side to side. She has ball-jointed shoulders that can barely move out. She has swivel at the bicep that can move side to side. She has single-jointed elbows that can only bend in that far. She has those odd swivels at the wrist that can move up and down and side to side. And I knew that would drop. She has ball-jointed waist that can move back just slightly, down slightly, and side to side slightly. She has ball-jointed hips that can move out that far. She can kick forward a little bit and back just a little bit. She has single-jointed knee that can move just a little bit. And she has ball-jointed ankles that can move down very slightly, up very slightly, and side to side very slightly. So now, let's take a look at the Faun and all of the accessories that he comes with. So, I have him on a clear stand. This is one of the stands I bought myself. He didn't actually come with it. Because of the way his legs are made, he is very difficult to get standing. So, yeah, it would have been nice if Neca would have included that as one of his accessories. So, for his first accessory, he comes with his satchel, and it looks pretty good. It's got some pretty good sculpt detail to it. It's got some texturing and a little bit of paint detail to it. Up next, he comes with his bone flute, and this looks really good. It looks pretty realistic to me. You can fit the bone flute in the satchel right there, and it closes really nicely and doesn't come open. I've had some problems with figures that do that, but yeah, this stays closed and that stays in there, so that's pretty cool. It comes with his canister, and again, some really good sculpt detail and paint detail to it, and it also opens. You can open it like so. And it opens up pretty wide. I kind of wish that the fairies would have been able to fit in. This is about the best you're going to get with the fairies in it, because at one point the fairies are actually in this. So yeah, you can't stand them up in it or anything, but that would have been really cool if you could have done that. Or if it would have included 3 of the fairies that just fit down in here, that would have been pretty cool. And finally, he comes with the dagger that Ofelia gets from the Pale Man's lair. This looks really, really good. It's very tiny, but you can actually see some sculpt detail there to the handle, and a little bit of a wash. So yeah, this accessory is small, but it's sculpted really nicely. And you can put the dagger in his little canister here and close it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So taking a look at the head sculpt of the fawn, Neca did such an awesome job on it. All of the sculpt detail to his horns and the paint variation there in the ridges. The different shades in his hair looks really good. The little bits of texturing and paint wash to the face. And the eyes are printed on. Again, I don't know if the original version was just painted on or printed on, but these eyes are printed on, and it looks really good. One thing that I also really like is that he has articulated ears, and I really like that because that's really good for photos. You know, you can use it to convey emotion with the figures, and I really like that. Would have been cool if right here they could have made his mouth articulated. That would have been awesome. But still, I'm really glad that we got articulated ears. The sculpt detail is just out of this world with this figure. All of the pieces of bark and everything on him look really nice. The sculpt detail to his chest looks good. And the paint variation. There's a bunch of paint variation going on here. And yeah, it just looks very, very good. Along with the Jason I just reviewed, this is one of Neca's best sculpted figures. But yeah, all of the paint variation and stuff looks very nice. And here's the back of the figure. Again, you get some really good sculpt detail and paint detail. And then down here you get his left tree foot, and then his right hoof. And like I said, because of this, he is very difficult to stand. That's why I wish Neca would have given him a stand in the package. The stand I'm using really doesn't work that well for him. He has really big peg holes. I've actually gotten the hoof foot to fit the peg in the stand, but it's still kind of loose. So yeah, those stands don't work for this for some reason. I have 2 complaints with this figure. One I'll show when I go over the articulation, and the other is right here. This left hip, you can see the joint right there, and it's done in this really, really bright color. It would have been nice if that would have been hidden, because on this one, you can't even see it on this one. Yeah, it's hidden really well, but this one you can see a lot, especially when you move the figure around. So I'm not sure why it's like that, because it's just the left side. Like I said, it's fine on this side, which I guess if you do that, you can kind of hide it. So I guess if you move it like that, you can hide it, but if you move it just a little bit, or if you move it back and forth, you will see that. That will be exposed there. So now, let's go ahead and go over the fawn's articulation. He has a ball-jointed head that surprisingly can look up all the way. He can look down just a little bit. He has ball-jointed ears that can move up and down, side to side, and move all the way around. Like I said, I really like that because you can really convey emotion with that. He has ball-jointed shoulders, and the left side only moves out this far. When I was moving this one, this came loose a little bit because it's a separate piece. So the right side will move out just about all the way, but this one doesn't. I think I did that. I think that was me. I think when I was posing it around, I made that loose, because this one is glued down and doesn't want to move. So yeah, I think that was my fault. He has single jointed elbows that can bend in just a little bit, and here is my big complaint. He has these, the same type of wrists as Ofelia, and they barely move up and down at all. They do move side to side, but like they don't move up and down at all. So that's my major complaint with this figure, is the articulation is hindered so much right here. So yeah, it would have been nice if Neca would have improved those joints right there. He has a ball-jointed waist and diaphragm that can move back all the way. He can crunch forward just about all the way, and he can move side to side very slightly up there, and he can move side to side at the waist very nicely. He has ball-jointed hips that can only move out that far. He can kick forward just a little bit. He can kick back all the way. He has single jointed knees that pretty much just stay in that position, but you can move them down all the way. And he has swivel right here, but again, they're pretty much pre-posed, but you can move it forward just a little bit. On the left tree foot, he has an ankle that can move down just a little bit, up all the way, and it really moves side to side. There's really no ankle rocker to it. And on the hoof foot, it can move down all the way, up all the way, and again, it moves side to side. It's not really a rock. So overall, the Faun's articulation is a lot better than Ophelia's, but both really do have their drawbacks in terms of articulation. So overall, this pack is really nice. I missed out on both of the previous versions, so I was happy that Neca re-released this. It does have its drawbacks, though. Obviously, the Faun is the star of the set because Ophelia's articulation really lacks and stuff. But I'm a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro and Pan's Labyrinth, so this was a must-buy for me. So I would highly recommend picking it up. Like I said, just don't expect to get a lot of crazy articulation out of the figures, and you'll be fine. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.